What's up, fellow Gen Xers and enthusiasts? Welcome to X-hale Rewind, where we're all about celebrating our unique experiences growing up as part of Gen X. We witnessed some truly impactful moments, like the Desert Storm, the Challenger explosion, the tragic passing of Princess Diana, and the death of rock legend Kurt Cobain. But hey, we also saw some truly amazing things like the Berlin Wall coming down, the rise of MTV, the birth of arcades, the launch of the We Are the World video, mixtapes, and playing Oregon Trail on the first school computers. And we are here to share with you just a little bit about what life was like as a Gen Xer. X-hale and Rewind. Hey, what is up? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to X-hale and Rewind right here on Mike and Juju's Smoke Room. At the Smoke Room 420, y'all, the most lit YouTube handle out there. Let's go. This is also that special spot for kicks and memories. I'm, as always, your boy and your host, Mike.
And I'm Juju, coming at you with that nostalgia you've been craving.
Plus your all-time favorite resident retro collector Shad in the building, y'all.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into something that changed all our lives. The evolution of video games, from those sweaty arcades to our comfy couches.
Ah, yes. I remember dumping my entire allowance into that Street Fighter 2 back in the day.
Bro, I was that kid who watched the attract mode for like 20 minutes because I ran out of quarters.
Y'all two are lucky, I swear. I had to ride my bike 5 miles just to get to the nearest arcade. Y'all know that? By the time I got there, half my quarters were already gone because someone either beat me up or someone would take them from me. Well, I had like enough quarters for like 3 games, and that was friggin' it, man.
Poor shit. Hi, y'all. Today we're talking. Alright, y'all. Today we're taking everyone on the ultimate gaming trip. And don't worry, Shad, you don't need any quarters for this one.
Thank God.
Alright, so let's talk about 1971 to 1995, y'all. That arcade era. And for all our younger viewers, we're going to take a second and break down how this all started. Now, the first real arcade game hit was
Pong, 1972 Atari. Just 2 lines and a dog, but it changed everything.
Alright, y'all. While Computer Space in 1971 was technically the first commercial arcade game, Pong in 1972 was the first mainstream hit. It was created by Al Alcorn as a training exercise, assigned by Nolan Bushnell at Atari. Alright, y'all, but the game that really blew everything up, let's be for real, Space Invaders 1978, y'all. You know that game made a coin shortage in Japan, for real.
Real for real.
Yeah, I mean, no cap. Those machines were taking like $600 a week back then. I mean, that's like $2,000 today.
Space Invaders, created by Tomohiro Nishikado, caused a temporarily 100 yen coin shortage in Japan in 1978. By 1980, over 300,000 machines were installed worldwide, grossing more than $2 billion.
Let me drop some dollars for y'all. They had to empty those coin boxes twice a day in Japan. The 100 yen coin became so scarce that they had to mint more just for Space Invaders. Ain't that crazy?
We got some footage here from the original arcade craze. Look at those lines.
Yeah, footage of Japanese arcade lines around the block is what you're seeing right now. And gaming was still pretty simple back then, though.
Until the monster dropped. Asteroids. First game to use vector graphics and let you enter your initials for high scores.
Asteroids by Atari used vector graphics instead of raster displays, and that allowed for a sharper image, and it sold over 70,000 units, becoming Atari's best-selling arcade game.
Speaking of moneymakers, let's not forget Pac-Man.
Yay.
1980 made over $2 billion in quarters by 1991.
Hey, fun fact for all y'all watching, that Waka Waka sound, the designer got inspired while he was eating pizza. Little fact, creator Toru Awatani has stated the design Pac-Man shaped after seeing a pizza with a slicer moved out of it.
Sonic Waka sound was designed to be friendly and appealing to wider audiences, including women who were undeserved in arcades.
Underserved is what I think you mean. And that first Laserdisc game, it was 50 cents a play when everything else was just a quarter.
That animation was crazy for the time, like playing a cartoon.
Don Bluth himself directed it. Cost him $3 million to make it. Most games cost maybe $50,000 to build back then.
Yeah, and Dragon's Lair used Laserdisc technology, allowing for full animation. It was created by Rick Dyer and animated by Don Bluth Studios. Now, it costs over $1,300 per cabinet to produce, compared to the $1,000 to $2,000 for standards.
First game with mini-map showing off-screen action was a Spender.
Yeah, those controls were impossible, bro. 5 buttons plus a joystick.
Still holds up today, though. That intensity level. Defender, designed by Eugene Jarvis for Williams Electronics, had the most complex control scheme of its time. It initially received negative feedback from focus groups, but went on to sell over 60,000 units.
All right, y'all, let's talk about it. You already know Street Fighter II, 1991. You can! Now, this game made over $2.3 billion in arcade revenue.
Remember the urban legends about Akuma and those crazy moves.
They used to hold tournaments with cash prizes. First real competitive gaming scene.
Yeah, I remember back in the day at the mall, Silver Ball, there'd be like 20 people lined up to play and just all day. Street Fighter II popularized one-on-one fighting games and that competitive play, y'all. And it introduced 6 attack buttons, special move combinations, and you got to pick that character. The original Street Fighter in 1987 was a bit less successful. Alright, and what about Mortal Kombat 1992? Get over here! Now that game scared the crap out of some parents.
Yeah, those fatalities were wild. First time seeing digitized actors too.
This game right here literally caused Senate hearings on video game violence.
Definitely. A little fun fact about Mortal Kombat. It digitized images of real actors, y'all. Its controversial fatalities led directly to the U.S. congressional hearings in 1993. It went on to lead to the creation of the ESRB, Entertainment Software.
Let's get real. Arcades weren't just about the games. They were social spots.
Facts. And that's where you went to flex your skills and meet other gamers.
I collected tokens from every arcade I visited. Each one had a story. Like the one I have back in my house from the same arcade where I got my first steak from.
Cool. That's cool. Alright, y'all. Let's talk about pixelated animation of arcade cabinet, shrinking it down to the home TV.
Yep, but everything changed when consoles hit homes. First up,
The Magnavox Odyssey, y'all. 1972. Now this bad boy did not have any sound. And you had to put plastic overlays on your TV screen to even play it. While the Magnavox Odyssey, designed by Ralph Baer, was often called the father of video games, and went on to sell over 350,000 units between 72 and 75, it couldn't actually generate graphics. It displayed dots that were requiring plastic TV overlays to create the games, if that makes sense to you younger people.
And if anybody out there still got one in their box, you're a lucky person. Who wants to play some brown box tennis? Check out this plastic overlay. No microchips, just analog circuits.
is that actually worth something?
It all depends on condition it's in. They probably run about $1,200, but the history is priceless.
Alright, y'all. Let's talk about that first generation. 1972 to 1976.
The Magnavox Odyssey development is wild. Ralph Baer started working on it about 1966.
And then Atari hit with Home Pong in 1975, and that sold through the Sears catalog.
Wait, people bought video games from catalogs?
Definitely. The original Home Pong console sold 150,000 units during the 1975 holiday season at Sears. Just the holiday season. And that success prompted dozens of Pong clone companies to pop up everywhere. And what happened was it led to a market saturation as early as 1977. Then you got to talk about second generation. 1976 to 1983, that's our age group when we were born. The Atari 2600. Now that bad boy changed everything, y'all. It had swappable cartridges. The first one that did.
Wood grain, though. Real classic.
Classy.
No more single game systems. This essentially invented the modern console concept.
Definitely, Shad. The Atari 2600 was originally called the BCS, Video Computer System. And it would go on to sell over 30 million units in its lifetime and offered 900 different games.
Do y'all remember the E.T. game? That game right there, part of what crashed the entire industry.
The Great Crash in 1983. Like, it literally, they had to bury millions of cartridges in a landfill.
For real? I thought that was an urban legend.
It is not. It is a true story. They made a documentary about it a few years back.
Yeah, so yes, on Netflix.
Yep, Netflix. All right, guys. The North American video game crash in 1983 would see industry revenues fall approximately 97%. And that would be from $3.2 billion in 1983 to $100 million. And did y'all hear what I just said? $3.2 billion to $100 million. Like, what a drop. And a lot of those factors included market saturation, as we talked about earlier, everybody popping up with cheaper knockoffs and low quality games. And also competition from home computers. They were coming out then, really big.
You want to hear something wild? One of the actual games, E.T., that was dug up from the El Morro landfill in 2014 cost a pretty penny. But it's gaming history now.
Definitely. Let's talk about that third generation. That's when we really started playing video games. 83 to 1990. That's when Nintendo was in, the Nintendo era. Nintendo straight up, in my opinion, saved gaming.
Facts. But Shaq, tell them why they had to call it an entertainment system instead of a console.
Post-crash trauma.
PCT, y'all.
Retailers wouldn't touch anything called a video game system back then. That's why we got the Robot Buddy ROB2.
Yeah. Nintendo designed the NES to look like a VCR rather than a video game console. That way it could distance itself from the crash market. And the ROB, Robotic Operating Buddy, was included to market it as a toy rather than a video game system. Sneaky, sneaky. We're going to play you that original Nintendo commercial with ROB real fast, so here you go.
Incredible Nintendo Entertainment System, the one to play with Rob, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included. He helps you tackle even the toughest challenge. Will you be the first to raise the incredibly accurate Zapper and play games like Duck Hunt or action-packed Hogan's Alley and high-flying Kung Fu, each sold separately? Will you be the one to experience the Nintendo Entertainment System? Comes with Rob, Zapper, Control Deck, 2 controllers, Gyromite, and Duck Hunt.
Alright guys, let's talk about the NES controller. The D-pad. Revolutionary. Come on, no more joysticks breaking.
Those games hold up too. Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, Metroid.
How about the Legend of Zelda, the box? It came with a map, gold cartridge, and they put a lot of love into these games.
Definitely. You could see, I mean, it was a step up from what was going on at that time. The NES D-pad was designed by Gunpei Yokoi for the Game & Watch handheld series before being incorporated into the Famicom.NES controller. while The Legend of Zelda went on to sell over 6.5 million copies on NES. And that Go cartridge Shad was talking about became iconic. Fourth generation. Those years are 1987 and 1996. And this is where I kind of got off the gaming, and you two kind of stayed with it and kept on gaming. Around that time was when we had the big 16-bit war. And, in my opinion, Genesis does what Nintendo does.
Sega came out swinging with that marketing.
The first real console war. You had to pick a side.
Hey, the 16-bit era saw fierce competition between Sega and Nintendo, y'all. And while the Genesis had an early lead in North America with a 65% market share, by 1992, Super Nintendo eventually sold 49.1 million units worldwide, versus Genesis 35 to 40 million. So, which sold more globally, though? That's what we really want to know.
Super Nintendo, but Genesis was huge in the US. Sega won the marketing battle, but lost the war.
Blast processing, though.
All right, blast processing was a marketing term created by Sega of America that referred to the Genesis/Mega Drive's faster CPU. And it had no technical meaning, but it was a very effective marketing tool against Nintendo. Anybody who's a gamer knows, or an old gamer, knows about flat 2D sprite morphs and the evolution into 3D polygon models. The jump to 3D, though,
PlayStation changed everything.
Say that.
The original PlayStation released in Japan in December 1994 and in North America in September 1995. Sold over 102 million units worldwide. It was initially developed as a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo until Nintendo backed out of the partnership with Sony.
right?
Did you just remember that PlayStation sound? I sure do. But history right there.
Definitely, that startup sound was crazy. It was different than anything we'd heard at that point.
Those discs could hold way more data than cartridges, right?
Definitely. I mean, that's how you got into the crazy FMV cutscenes. I mean, what?
And the original Final Fantasy VII that came for the PS1. The game came on 3 CDs, completely changed RPGs forever. Final Fantasy VII had developed budget of approximately $45 million in making. It was one of the most expensive games out there. It sold over 10 million copies worldwide, and it is widely credited with the popularity of JRPGs in Western markets. Nintendo tried 3D with the Super FX chip. Basically, a co-conspirator right in the cartridge.
Virtua Fighter in arcades was mind-blowing. Let's be honest. Those blocky fighters, though.
Remember how ugly early 3D was, though? We thought it looked amazing.
I mean, definitely. The Super FX chip was designed by Argonaut Software and manufactured by Nintendo, and it enabled 3D graphics on the SNES. Now, Star Fox was the first game to use it, and it sold approximately 4 million copies despite pushing the limits of the hardware. Alright, let's just get to it, y'all. PlayStation era. You're talking Gran Turismo, Crash Bandicoot, Metal Gear Solid,
And survival horror. Resident Evil defined a whole genre.
And don't forget the 15 save blocks on your memory card. Choose wisely.
Yeah, you only got 15. Gran Turismo, 1997. And it went on to sell over 10.85 million copies on PlayStation. making it the platform's biggest selling game. And PlayStation memory card offered 128 KBs of storage divided into 15 blocks, with most of your games requiring up to one block.
The Nintendo 64 innovation.
Yeah.
The three-prong controller, analog stick, and rumble pack. Nintendo was still innovating.
Super Mario 64 completely wrote the book on 3D movement.
But those cartridges limited what developers could do compared to PlayStation discs.
Yeah, the disc is just something different. Super Mario 64 sold 11.91 million copies worldwide, and is considered a landmark title for establishing 3D camera and movement controls that influence virtually all subsequent 3D games. What about that Dreamcast? Y'all remember that?
Yes,
And
sir.
its brief reign?
First control console with built-in modem from online play.
Yeah, it was really ahead of its time, y'all. Online gaming, VMU memory, cards, and those awesome mini games.
Died too young. Sega's last console.
Rest in peace, Sega. Alright, y'all, the Dreamcast launched in 98, 99. It was discontinued as early as 2001 after selling approximately 9 million units. Now, it would pioneer features later adapted by competitors, including online gaming, second screen game experiences, and downloadable content, which is amazing. But let's talk a little bit about modern gaming, y'all. We've got PlayStation and the evolution from the PS1 through the PS5 in a very rapid sequence. So, where are we at now? PS5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch.
Don't forget VR and AR, bro. Meta Quest, PSVR 2.
But look at this, y'all, right here. The VR 1.0 Nintendo's biggest flop. They were trying to innovate, and it became a disaster.
Definitely.
Virtual Boy was released in 1995 and discontinued in 1996 after selling only 770,000 units worldwide. Despite its commercial failure, it was the first portable console to display true 3D graphics.
Which, yeah, I mean, is the godfather of so much now. Alright, 7th generation. Man, how fast it just came up on me. HD gaming changed everything. I mean, you're talking Xbox 360 controllers.
Plus, Xbox Live made online gaming standard on consoles.
Yeah,
And don't forget the red ring of death on your console.
man.
The quality control wasn't great at first.
No, it definitely wasn't. The Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death, as he said, failure rate was estimated at approximately 23.7% in 2009. Now, 23.7% would go on to cost Microsoft about $1 billion in warranty extensions and repairs. Man, that's a lot of money. $1 billion for a mistake. All right, y'all, digital distribution. Remember when we thought digital games would be cheaper?
Steam sells them. My backlog is ridiculous.
I worry about gaming preservation. What happens when servers shut down?
I mean, definitely. Steam had over 120 million monthly active users as of 2020, with a library exceeding 50,000 games. Physical game sales declined from approximately 80% of the market in 2009 to less than 20% by 2022. Crazy. And then you got mobile gaming revolution. Biggest gaming platform now isn't even consoles, it's phones, y'all.
Angry Birds, Candy Crush, billions in revenue.
But remember the Game Boy, y'all. Portable gaming started here. 1989. Grayscale graphics.
Mobile gaming represented approximately 52% of global gaming market revenue in 2023, generating over 98 billion. The original Game Boy sold approximately 118.7 million units worldwide, including the Game Boy Color. All right, y'all, we got to talk about indie renaissance. I'm talking indie games bringing back old school gameplay with all new ideas.
Stardew Valley, Hollow Knight, made by tiny teams.
Yeah,
Digital distribution made this possible. No need for publishers anymore.
definitely.
Stardew Valley was primarily developed by a single person, Eric Barone, Cornered Ape, and has sold over 20 million copies across all platforms since its 2016 launch.
A little correction. I believe you meant Concerned Ape. No problem. All right, let's talk about futuristic digital tunnel effect. I mean, where's all this going? Cloud gaming seems inevitable, right? No more hardware? You just stream it.
Been promised for years though. Remember Online, Google Stadia?
Online launched in 2010 and shut down in 2015. Google Stadia launched in 2019 and shut down in 2023 after failing to reach audience targets, despite pioneering technologies that influenced the industry.
Yeah. Let's move on over to VR and AR evolution. So, the tech's getting better every year.
But will it ever go mainstream? Price points still high.
It's taken decades to get here. Might take decades more.
Without a doubt. Global VR headset shipments reached approximately 10 million units in 2023, and that represents less than 3% of global console ownership. Not very good numbers for them. Let's talk about AI in gaming. You know, AI is taking over everywhere, y'all. So, neural networks creating endless gameplay possibilities. Are y'all down for that?
Procedural generation going to the next level?
What happens to game developers? Will AI replace artists?
AI driven game development tools showed a 230% increase in adoption between 2020 and 2023, with over 35% of major studios using some form of machine learning in their development pipeline.
Gaming preservation, Shad.
This is what I care about the most. Preserving gaming history.
Emulation's key for games that would otherwise disappear, y'all.
But companies keep fighting against it.
Go companies. All right, an estimated 87% of games released before 2010 are no longer commercially available through official channels. Community preservation efforts have saved approximately 170,000 at-risk games across all platforms. And you know what's crazy? Gaming's bigger than movies and sports combined, y'all. Yes, I said that. Bigger.
Facts. The industry made 184 billion in 2022.
And it all started with 2 lines and a dot.
The global gaming market reached 184.4 billion in 2022. Now that exceeds the combined value of the global film industry, 76.7 billion, and sports industry at 91 billion. That's crazy, y'all. Well, fam, we've taken you from Pong to Metaverse.
Don't forget to drop a comment with your favorite gaming memory.
And hit me up if you've got any rare hardware collecting dust. Always looking to preserve gaming history.
All right. Next week, we are talking about.
No, hold up, bro. No,
What?
keep it under wraps.
For real?
Yes, keep it under wraps.
Ooh, all right.
Trust me, you don't want to miss this one.
All right. We'll see y'all on the next one, guys. As always, we love you all.
Good day.